Hello, gentle viewers. This is Indian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 21 with the Baltimore Orioles. This is going to be a massive season for us. A lot of our kids are now in the actual team and getting ready to play. And I need to build a pitching staff, and I need to build our lineup and rotation. So let's do both of those things. Starting off with the pitching staff. I want the ratings, please. All right. Jack Leiter is stupidly good, but I don't want him to be the ace just yet. Instead, it's going to be Noah Syndergaard. Mr. Leiter, you are on a pitch count. 90 pitches seems reasonable. He just broke 200 innings for the first time in his career last year, including his time in college. So I want to give him a chance to get acclimated. And I still can't believe he forced the issue. Well done, Jack. 77 innings in high A, and you're already in the majors. I hope I don't ruin him, but I probably just did. Kramer can be the number 3 starter. And then Hall and Ivy. Man, remember when we were excited to get Tyler Ivy, and now he's just kind of an afterthought? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Okay, done. Edwin Diaz. You are required to give us a stable closer so that we don't have to force other pitchers to be the closer. So, Senor Diaz. Then I can let Tanner Scott and just the relievers, please. Yeah, Tanner Scott's going to be my setup guy. Mr. Castillo, you're my long reliever emergency starter. And then everyone else is going to be... Ooh, hang on. Pitching ratings. It doesn't include... Let me edit this view. Because I want to see all this stuff. Because I want to be able to see splits more easily. There we go. Control versus left-handed batters. Mr. Dowie, I'm going to make you my anti-lefty for right now. And then everyone else, I'm going to have you pitch and earn your way onto the team. I genuinely don't know how we can fix Tanner Scott. I genuinely don't. He's got so much potential, but he just won't stop walking people. Which is incredibly frustrating. It looks like he's also been victimized a bit by bad defense. He's a ground ball pitcher. And our ground ball defense hasn't been the strongest. One of the things I mean to do this season, by the way, is I mean to make sure to check in on the bullpen every couple of months. You can also be middle relief if we need somebody, but your primary role is going to be to get those tough lefties out. Okay. Lineups. Oh, let's go by the ratings first. Now, can anyone on the roster make a case for being the starting, for being the number 3 hitter other than Adley Rutschman? I don't think so. Let me actually make one of the easier decisions first. Mr. Perdomo, you're going to be a leadoff hitter. And play a pretty fair third base at it while we're at it. Man, if you start hitting 15 to 20 home runs a year, you're going to be a pretty special third baseman. Okay, easy decision number 1, done. Adley, you're my number 3. Easy decision number 2. Now, how do we fill out the rest of the roster? Is the question. I really like that you have Cedric Mullins as the number 2 hitter. Because he does everything well, but nothing particularly well. Remember, he was our leadoff hitter for a while. I think he'd be an even better number 2. Let's slide him in there. Okay. We only have one other above average hitter on the team, which is Ryan Mountcastle. I take that back. Larnach is pretty good too. You've got that gap power, Ryan, so I'm going to make you my cleanup hitter. Larnach will hit 5th. Oh, wait a minute. We got Yasiel Puig. I completely forgot about that. No. Oh, don't you suck in right field now? You're both equally crappy. Great. I am going to put him in the lineup, but you're going to DH. For now. We need second, short, and center. Where is Mr. Garcia? Is he hurt? He is hurt, but he'll be back in 3 days. And I want him in the majors all year this year. Because he could also be a special player. I remember O'Neal Cruz because you're like a power-hitting shortstop. Oh, you were going to be my designated hitter. Yeah. Oops. It's fine. Mr. Bannon, someone needs to play second, which is the only reason I'm picking you. I literally must have someone to fill the position. Ooh, Ryan Mountcastle. How do you look? You're a bit more pedestrian, so I'm actually going to go ahead and play Alex Torrell. Maybe. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And then Mountcastle can hit against left-handed pitching for right now. We need a center fielder and a shortstop. Brian Miller is just better than Mr. Tochi. And I honestly just need to get through 3 days, so I don't mind letting O'Neal Cruz play shortstop for a very short time. I do want Mountcastle getting regular starts, just maybe not every other game. And I definitely want you to be if starter tired. Let's go to left-handed pitcher now. Please copy the lineup. Paste the lineup. Swap in Mountcastle. And we'll generate the depth chart. I'm not playing Tochi. I don't get why you think I should. I mean, yes, Tochi is a marginally better power hitter, but we can't sort the lineup just based on how good a power hitter someone is. No. This looks good. Our lineup is still lagging behind just a bit. We don't have the raw power that I'd like to see. Oh, and bench coach, you can earn your salary here. You can give me that. And then you can give me that. The one thing we failed to get last offseason is we didn't get that flagship hitter. We've got a lot of hitters who could vary greatly from very good to merely okay. We just need more consistency, I think, is the order of the day. Why did we get... So there's actually been a while since I've actually uploaded the last episode. Was that what Pugh is supposed to be for? Is he supposed to be my starting right fielder against left-handed pitching? We'll figure it out. We still got a lot of money. But the bill is coming due. The bill is coming due. The bill is so coming due. Okay. Luis Garcia. I hope you get a chance to play the season because I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with you. Cedric Mullins. You're getting to the point where you're not worth the money. What do we have in the minors? Emerson Hancock is first man up if a pitcher gets hurt. We got some other interesting players, but nobody it's truly outstanding in AAA other than Hancock. Cabrera, who I still can't believe we just basically kidnapped for a song from Tampa. You're going to be the starting right fielder maybe in one season. Maybe by the end of this season. Definitely by the end of next season. You're going to be my starting right fielder. Hernais. You're a weird dude. I don't know if any team but me would appreciate your unique skill set. It's whatever. We've got a lot of good to above average prospects hanging out in various levels of the minors. But in terms of impact hitters, it's really just Cabrera. I'm still holding out hope that Anthony Garcia can improve his plate discipline and improve his contact in AA. I also got to be ready for Jack Leiter to crash and burn in the majors his first season. Which is totally realistic and understandable. And if I have to send him back down, I will. But I'd really like to see him, make a big deal this season. I also don't appreciate the fact I'm not getting credit for calling people up to the majors, or haven't been, because I didn't draft them. They were drafted for me. So Leiter is the first player rather, that's going to fall into that mark. Let's go ahead and play 1 week. Just so that we can get Luis Garcia back. I don't want O'Neal Cruz starting a shortstop for very long. Because he's kind of bad. I don't care if his toe hurts. That's what my friend is for. Okay. Garcia's ready. Mr. Brujan. I'm demoting you. Because Bannon has elite level power, which makes him still a useful player. And I'm okay with keeping him at second. Luis Garcia, you're playing shortstop. And I'm also moving you way up the order. Actually, I'm just going to leave you where you are for right now. It's not that I don't think you can hit. It's that I think you need some time to figure it out. You know what? You want to cycle in Cruz regularly? I'm totally fine with that. And then Garcia in at short. And then we generate around him. Now, our future plan, in case you're curious, is that Daniel Corona Jr. takes over at short. And then I can ship Garcia back to second. But we need to see him start to hit. Once he does, I feel pretty confident he'll be able to hold down shortstop for a few seasons at least. Garcia's playing a shortstop because someone has to play there right now, but I definitely want him at second base in the not too distant future. You tripped over a coffee table, you dumb son of a bitch. No huge changes that I'm seeing here. Owen Cobb is really pushing. And he could also be a nice interim shortstop. Drew Jones is slowly improving. And what pick did we spend on him? A second round pick. Let's scout him again, please and thank you. Oh, that's you scouting O'Neal Cruz. That's fine. Now, interesting question. Who do we want to draft this year? Because that'll be coming up sooner rather than later. And we have a reasonably good pick. What do we need in this system? Let's look at the organizational depth chart. No, not that one. This one. Or the best minor league system. That's not the one I want. I want the, where is it? Is it under Meet the Team? No. I'm sure I'll find it here in a minute. Oh, we could create baseball cards for people. That's fun. Lineup, strategy, front office. It is... It's not the minor league system report. Positional rankings. That's what I've been looking for. Okay. We really just need batters, I think, is the story at the end of the day. We really need hitters. It looks like we're kind of okay with third base. Gunnar Henderson seems to be quite the popular sort. We're good on pitchers. We really need offense. So we're going to dive into the rookie draft. And I'm not even going to look at pitchers. I don't care how good the pitchers are in the first round. We need upper-level hitting talent. Batters. And then I'm just going to scout everyone here. And it looks like this isn't a great draft for top-line offensive prospects, but it seems like it's a good draft for good to average offensive prospects. And I quite frankly am here for that. Blaze Jordan is my current favorite prospect in this draft, depending on how his scouting reports turn out. Let's advance a bit of time. It's going to stop me. Forrest Whitley, you are ready to come back. I would like you, please, to go to the minors as a rehab assignment. I was kind of hoping we'd get a really good offensive player in this offseason, but if you recall, a lot of people just didn't want to play for me. Jose Isara. No. You're not on my short list, are you? Good. This is not good enough. This is a pretty decent defensive shortstop. He'll draw a few walks. That is not 10th overall pick. I'd keep my pick rather than waste it. Robbie Ashford is a mediocre hitting center fielder. No, thank you. Phil Wilcox. You've got a bit more potential. You have a fairly well-rounded skill set. Your college stats suggest you've got power. And I know you're not a great fielder, but you at least have earned my curiosity. Chris White. Not too different from Mr. Wilcox. A lot of similarities. Milan Tolentino is a shortstop that draws walks. OOTP certainly has a type, or maybe my scout does. Aiden Sims, absolutely not. No. I really don't want a slap-hitting center fielder who is going to make a lot of mistakes in center field. I don't trust Sims. I don't think he's that great. Joshiya Morrissey. In this draft, you look a little bit better. Looks like a down year for you, your senior year of college. That's problematic. You're relatively polished, but the upside isn't really there. Malachi Knight, an okay hitter. Guys, we might just keep our draft pick and not pick anyone. It seems to me like this is a pretty shallow draft. I mean, even Blaze Jordan is hard to get excited about with a 10th overall pick. Now, I hear you saying, in the comfort of your own home, but Avi, isn't the draft a crapshoot? It definitely is. 100% it is. But I think we can do better. I really do. David Herrera. We need more on you. You're just all over the place. You're a good power hitter, decent discipline, and it looks like you played pretty much everywhere in college. And you got better your second year, even if it was only by a tiny smidge. Hunter Haas. He's got gap power, decent plate discipline, and he's a pretty fair defensive infielder. Can I get a bit more on him? Carson Tucker. I quite like Tucker. Give me one more scouting report on the off chance that the last one kicks him into 50. But I think he's a guy I could see myself drafting. Why is he rated 20 out of 50? Is it because he's actually a pretty competent third baseman? I mean, he could be decent. I'm not sure, though. Yeah, Drew Bowser appears to be somewhat overrated. Perhaps my prospect is in another castle, but I don't think he's in this one. Here's Blaze Jordan again. I would take him in the second round, I think. I think that's where I'm working myself into. Like, my scout thinks he's got elite power. And maybe he does. But if he can't combine that with an ability to consistently hit for contact, I worry about him when he hits the majors. Jordan is a guy I would draft, but not with the 10th overall pick. Drew's ceiling is starting to climb just a bit. I'll be pleased to see what happens there. Meh. I'm not going to look at these scouting reports right now. I'll look them over again when what's actually draft time. For falter. Are you saying that Falter faltered? I'm sorry, Bailey. That's terrible, but that's life. It's early. This is bad. Mr. Torrell, what the shit? How in 58 at bats have you only gotten 8 hits? Yeah, so far the entire lineup has been disappointing. So we're going to have to hope for better days ahead. And you know, I'd rather underperform early in the season and then whammo, we surprise the other teams in the second half. Okay, 8 weeks for Tyler Ivey. Bad timing on your part. Ooh. I know I said Emerson Hancock would be the first man up, but I think it kind of has to be Whitley. Because we need him to audition for a major league gig. At this point, he is what he probably is, and I just need to see him in action to determine if he's worth keeping or if we move on from him. So that's what we're going to do. Mr. Whitley, you're the new number 5 starter for the next couple of months. And we're going to see how you handle it. And maybe you'll do great, maybe you won't. Who can say? And you got suspended, possibly for sucking too much. It's understandable. I don't think we'll compete for a playoff spot this season, but I'd sure like to be in the conversation for one. That's what I'd like to see. Any big changes here? Pierrette's getting to the point where he's putting stuff together, which is very nice. I'm not seeing Daniel Cabrera's name here. Hey, good work, buddy. There we go. Someone is performing up to snuff. What is going on with Mr. Cabrera? How are you enjoying your time in Double-A? I mean, you're pretty much dominating right now. Did you change scouting-wise? You did slightly. Your contact has gotten better. Up to the draft pool announcement. You're ready to come back off the IL. AAA. Now, what we could do is take our fairly deep pool of prospects and try to get a great hitter. But here's our issue. His name is Daniel Cabrera. Like, at a certain point, as soon as this season, he's going to force the issue. And I am not keeping Cedric Mullins beyond this season. I think he's exactly the kind of player who looks good on paper, But he's had loads of chances to prove that he's a great outfielder, and he's really been decent. And I don't want consistency for consistency's sake. I want a premier hitter. And in a lot of ways, Cabrera's already better than you are. We'll have to see what happens. Oh, the draft pool got announced. That's cool. Cliff Johnson. Give me a scouting report. Manny Valencia, scouting report. Devin Kame, scouting report. What else do we do? We've had 30 games. How's the bullpen? It's all over the bloody place, which is kind of what I expected. Same for the rotation. Toral, you're done. I can't have patience for a guy who hasn't even played a AAA, who just can't hit. Not only are you done, I think you're going to AAA. I don't even think I'm going to keep you in the majors. Is there someone I would like to call up? I don't think so. Not in particular. Are you a lefty? You are. I could call up Dan Lotz and let him have a 40-man spot. You know what? I think Brujan gets called back up because I do want another infielder. And I think we just let Mountcastle start at first. There we go. I think I keep getting seduced by other players being a little better in certain areas than him. But the dude is a doubles machine. And if he doesn't hit doubles, he hits homers. And that's totally fine to me. So I think we will let Mountcastle stay. You look at Baltimore. I know what I want on this team. Give me who's hot. And this way I can more quickly see who's struggling and who's not. Dean Kramer, in 6 starts, you've gotten your brain hammered in. You're giving up Gophers. That's a really bad sign. I'm really hoping you sort this out, but if you don't sort it out, I will demote you. Actually. What do I do? Here's my issue. You know what? Let's look at his game log before I make any harsh decisions. Yeah, bro, you're just... Oh, no, these don't count because these are spring training starts. Yeah, dude, you're just giving up homers at this redonkulous rate. I don't think I can keep you in the majors too much longer. I hope you figure it out, though. Like, Syndergaard's a bit of a disappointment, but I understand that. And I've only got him for 3 years, and I'm not even paying him his full salary. Yeah, everyone's giving up homers at a pretty alarming rate to begin the season. Um, we'll wait just a bit longer. We got some decisions to make, though. I need to start getting people off the 40 man to make room for Hancock and Cabrera. Do we shop Cedric Mullins now, or do we wait till after the All-Star break? It feels to me like paying extra for Mullins is locking myself into mediocrity, which is honestly one of my biggest flaws in OTP, and I acknowledge that. I tend to get comfortable with certain players, and then I just keep paying them, even when their production isn't the best. Oh, can I get the cost-effective? No, it's only in the front office thing. That's fine. Who's been cost-effective this year? Obviously, Adley Rushman. That's going to change quite dramatically. Why can I still change my ticket prices? I shouldn't be able to do that, but whatever. Okay. I'm going to hang on to Mullins until after the All-Star break. I know I said that once before, but I'm just going to repeat it. Oh, I see your issue. You're a man without a position. I can work with that. Give me another scouting report on him. Hey, 10 in a row. Nice. Cliff Johnson. You're very raw defensively, but you also look like an excellent player. Oh, you're on my draft list now. And this is the kind of player, I will admit I have a weakness for this kind of player. The player with a really good bat that doesn't have a clear home on the diamond. Because he's so good and so athletic, I'd happily give him a shot to stick at shortstop. And he's so young that even if he's like, man, shortstop super hard, you know, don't have to worry about that. Let's proceed. Manny Valencia. Also an interesting player. You're on my draft guys list. And then give me another report on him. Dang it, I could add Rafael Devers, and then I decided not to pull the trigger. Oh well. Prospect pipeline. Let me look at my team. They really want me to promote Daniel Cabrera. But I don't want to ruin him. Like, he could be a legitimate franchise player. And I don't want to ruin that. Not on a chance to maybe be slightly better this year. What we might do... Ooh, we're in first place now. Nice. Let's kick the tires on the trade block right now. It's pretty bad. There is nobody here I would so much as pay $1.50 for. There's no... Yeah, the player I'm looking for is not on the trade block, which is fine. I'm comfortable with that. I can see why Cliff Johnson is very highly rated. He's probably the most accomplished hitter in this class. And he's not going to fall to number 11. He's just not. And we have to be comfortable with that. Nice work, Mr. Diaz. Daniel Cabrera. Do I push you to AAA? I mean, you're not struggling with AA whatsoever. You're on the fast track. Go to AAA. I gotta do it. I gotta try. And if Daniel Cabrera is dominating in AAA the way he dominated in AA, I might have to give it some very serious consideration. Jack Leiter, you magnificent bastard. You're even better now than you were before. Garcia slipped a bit for reasons. I don't see why. He is struggling a bit drawing walks this season. But offensively, this is about what we expect from him. I do need a more regular shortstop. Emerson Hancock got better. Toro's improving a bit. Daniel fucking Cabrera is just like, look at this. I'm really good at baseball. You sure are, buddy. You sure are. Some other players make less impressive leaps. There's some things happening there. I don't think I can keep Hancock in the minors any longer. I really don't think that's possible. And Dean Kramer is still getting lit up. His stamina is not great either. And here's for me the biggest red flag. Look at the BABIP. It's actually about the same. Walk rate about the same. K rate a little better. Hit rate slightly higher. Home run rate through the bloody roof. Oh, and he did this in 2021 also. I think we move on from Dean Kramer. What can I get for you, my good friend? I just think we've reached a point where he is no longer of use to us. And I will even add salary for the right player. Like, if I could get a really good shortstop and then shift Luis Garcia back to second, I would do that in a heartbeat. I'm getting a lot of offers, which is great news. Alright, so let us look at shortstops to begin with. Darby Swanson is really on the block. Oh, he's actually not nearly as good in this game as he is in real life. That's fair. I mean, I could get an incredibly talented shortstop. That's a definite possibility. I kind of want someone who's ready for the majors now, though, is the thing. I mean, I'm not spending that much money for Trevor Story. That would be redonkulous. No. A 1-year rental on Carlos Correa. I could probably even get you to throw in a couple of prospects because I'd be taking such a huge salary off your hands. Bobby Witt Jr., though, I could get the number 10 prospect in Major League Baseball. That's really tempting. I could grab Alexander Vargas. I quite like him, actually. Here's what he offers us. He's young. He's cheap. He's a very good contact hitter. I think there's a lot to be said for Mr. Vargas. Marcus Semien, you're a good dude. I am not paying you that much money. If they eat the contract, I'll do it. But if I have to eat it, no. Maximo Acosta. Oh, you're a quite tasty little prospect, too. Alright. If we want to get better this season, it sounds like adding Carlos Correa and getting Houston to throw in some prospects is the best call. Or we trade for Bobby Witt Jr., who has the potential to be just an outstanding third baseman. I mean, Bobby Witt Jr. is the best prospect here. There's no disputing that. Like, Vargas is nice, but he's not Bobby Witt Jr. I'm not spending that much money on Marcus Semien. Don't be ridiculous. I'm not spending even more on Javier Baez. That's even more ridiculous. As much like Maximo Acosta, I think the sheer talent level of Bobby Witt Jr. is one I cannot pass up. I know we've got Perdomo at third base, and I don't care. Gimme. Now, Kansas City, do you have an interesting shortstop? You have old Kyle Seager, which is meh. You have Gene Segura, who's actually the worst at shortstop of all his positions. Adalberto Mondesi is a good shortstop but can't hit. Can I get you to throw in a couple more prospects? How about Kobe Mayo? Needs to think about it. This is two premier hitting prospects for a single major league pitcher. Let's see how they decide. Because remember, the primary purpose of this trade isn't even to get talent for right now. Yeah, I'm not giving you anything extra. I'm going to make this trade straight up. Done. Emerson Hancock, welcome to the major leagues. Justin Wilson, why are you struggling so much this season? You're doing everything badly. Okay. That's a good enough reason, I suppose. Where did you put Bobby Witt Jr.? AAA, please. Can Perdomo play shortstop by chance? He'd be okay at it. Because I really want Garcia to be playing second if I can manage it at all. But he's not a terrible shortstop. But yeah, as much as I love Perdomo, and I really, really do, and I think he's got the potential to be an excellent hitter, Bobby Witt Jr. could be a game changer. I mean, can you imagine Rutschman, Cabrera, Witt, back to back to back? That's a scary center of the lineup that we'd have for quite a few years. And I think it would be a magnificent addition to a lineup that right now, apart from Adley Rutschman, lacks a lot of offensive talent. Yeah, I think that's the right decision. And David Rendon got promoted. Good for him. And I know normally you don't trade a 27-year-old starting pitcher in the middle of a season. But he was just a bad fit for Baltimore. He was just getting lit up too regularly. So we have to, make decisions as we can. All right. I'm just going to instantly skip down to me and see who's left. Okay, all batters, please. That's kind of what I was afraid of, in that the really great hitters are already gone. Now, Manny Valencia. I mean, I could just... Wait, where's Blaze Jordan? Is he already gone? Or does he just fallen off the list? He's fallen down quite a bit. Okay. Dotson, maybe. I think Drew Bowser might be our call here. I really do. What does OSA think of him? OSA thinks the world of him. We're not quite so sanguine. But here's my thinking. Oh, he's 21. That's problematic. It's really problematic. Dotson's a well-rounded hitter, but runs into the same problem that Bowser does. So as I'm looking at him, what I would be expecting is, first of all, he's a ground ball hitter who somehow hits home runs. I don't know how he manages that, but that is distantly troubling. Not a ton of gap power, doesn't hit for great contact. Discipline is okay. He's a pretty decent shortstop who might be a good hitter. But he's already 21. And that's what gets me stuck on him. He's already 21. Which means this is a guy that should be hitting the majors in probably 2 to 3 seasons. And he's going to be a very difficult guy to start. What does my scout say about him? Average big leaguer. Is it worth drafting someone who will just be average, maybe, eventually? What is your deal, Mr. Herrera? Oh, right. Here's the other thing that tips me back in favor of Bowser, though. Shortstops who have double-digit home run power, even in 2023 in this game, are still a pretty rare commodity. And he's got the glove to stick at shortstop. On the other hand, I could just pick someone at random and then keep the pick for next season. Really quickly, what do we think is coming up in 2024? Hmm. 2024's got a few more outstanding offensive talents. What's the overall player pool like? Oh, damn. Next year's draft looks to be so much deeper in terms of unique players. And our scouting actually on these guys is actually pretty damn decent. And we're just successful enough so far this year that our pick next year is not going to be great. If we want a chance at one of these top guys, we'd have to have our current pick. And it's hard to argue that Drew Bonzer is better than any of those jerks. Here's what I'm going to do. I have to. I can't see hitting prospects that are that good coming up the pike and then throw in on someone mediocre like Drew Bowser. I'm going to draft Manny Valencia and I'm not going to sign him. I'm going to let him walk. And I think this is the right call. Second round pick. Blaze Jordan's gone already. That's unfortunate, but whatever. Milt Dotson is my kind of guy. he's a hitter that's got a lot of interesting tools who just hasn't found a home yet. And he played at a really good college and played quite well. Never really hit for average, but he's always hit for a decent chunk of power, and he's been good about drawing walks. What about Chris White? We'll grab Milt Dotson. I think he's a good call. And then we're already out of the people that I had flagged. Okay. Let's look at all the players. Mick Abel. Let's take Ethan Hurt. He's got a bit of talent to him. Mick Abel just keeps sliding. We liked him at one point. I'm going to draft him just because it's so late in the draft and because we scouted him and thought the world of him at one point. Brad Sampson is my favorite. Oh, he doesn't want to play in the majors. Dang it, I was going to draft you so hard, too. Alex Gutierrez, you might figure it out. Now it is purely crapshoots at this point. I will take a stab at you and just see what your salary demands are. Oof. Remember Raul Ibanez Jr.? How we thought he could be potentially a first-round pick? The years have not been kind to you, my friend. I'm going to grab you now as a late draft choice. Auto draft until next pick. I think we've reached the stage where I can just trust my scouting director. So go ahead and finish the draft for me if you would, kind sir. I just don't think there's anything else that I really want in this draft. Okay. Negotiate. I'm not even talking to you, my friend. I'm not. Like, I know I could be deliberately insulting, but I don't want to do that in case Manny decides to go to college. There you go. That's pretty good. Alex Gutierrez, sure. Brad Sampson, how much money do you actually think you're worth? You want more than $8 million. And my word, you might be able to hit like 50 homers a year, but then again, you might not. Is it worth me cracking open? I mean, I've got $38 million for free agents this season, right? $27 million. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to offer you $10 million. I don't think you're that great, but it's only money. And it's not like I'm going to be able to get much better than that for the price. And then everyone else just gets their minor league, their salary bonus. I just hate to be Manny Valencia right now. Like, I can't not draft someone, which would have been my preference. So instead I draft him, and he's like, I'm going to get $7 million. 6th round pick with giant muscles. Have $10 million. Poor Manny. I think we're making the right call for this team, though. I really do. I think there's a much better chance that we get an impact hitter at pick number 10 in next year's draft than we were going to get one in this draft. I feel pretty strongly about that. Am I actually just rationalizing a possibly bad decision? Maybe. I like your name, Pat Davis. Done. Have 500 grand. We're going to sim up to next week in a minute. I would very much like to start scouting the next year's elite hitting prospects. Yeah, Pacheco could be amazing. He's basically a much better version of Drew Bonzer. There's so much talent in next year's draft class. It's positively terrifying. I don't need Andrew no. You had me tempted for a second there, but no. If I'm going to upgrade at left field, it's probably going to be because Cabrera gets promoted. These are both fine. I really think it gave Brad Sampson here a really interesting and difficult decision to make. Texas, you will send me an interesting player for players I don't particularly... Ooh. I mean, meh. I don't really need that upgrade, to be honest with you. That really doesn't accomplish much for me. How's Forrest Whitley taken to the majors? Not great. Then you can return to AAA. And Tyler Ivey, you can get a rotation spot back. Hancock's had a nice couple of starts. And most importantly, he's kept the ball in the park. This is almost silly that Jack Leiter is this good his first year in the majors, but that's where we are right now. Like, he's been having homer issues too, but he's done such a good job of striking people out. And rarely, if ever, walking them, that his movement issues aren't crippling. DL Hall suffering a bit more, probably because no, he's actually having a really good year. Yeah, he's actually doing quite well. Oh, I was clicked on Hancock. That was the issue. Like, short of building a new ballpark, there's nothing I can do to stop us from giving up home runs. That's just life right now. And Brad Sampson took the offer. You are instantly being shortlisted. And I'm going to take control over your promotions and demotions. Now, the next issue is the bullpen. Have we settled things out any? Yes, we settled them out as Justin Wilson is not very good. And neither is Miguel Castro this year. So Mr. Wilson, let's go to the bullpen and let's change around some roles. Avoid high leverage and avoid high leverage. I think that's fair. Tanner Scott has enjoyed a nice career resurgence here. I think maybe he was never meant to be a closer, which is fine. Which is utterly and totally fine. You would give me Max Kepler. And you're not asking for a huge amount in return. Here's the thing, though. Our current right fielder is perfectly fine. He's not exceptional, but he's perfectly fine. The rest of the lineup is actually hitting fairly well. Maybe not Rylan Bannon. I don't feel a particular pressure to acquire an outfielder. We could be better, obviously, but I don't feel a huge amount of pressure to add him to the lineup. And if I was going to upgrade the outfield, I'd just be like, hey, Daniel Cabrera, welcome to the big leagues. Larnach is slipping just a bit, but he's still being very productive, and I'm comfortable with that. Poog, not so much. He's been okay. But then again, I didn't pay much for him, so that's not a big deal. Adley Rutschman has gone from being like a god to merely very, very good. Like, if I wait until he hits arbitration, Rutschman's gonna have me over a barrel. I don't know what to do about that. I also don't know what to do with Cedric Mullins. Like, he's on pace to have a pretty darn good year. But he is... I mean, he could replace Poog, I guess, who's been even less impressive. But the problem is we have Daniel Cabrera waiting. Perdomo, I don't know what I'm going to do with you when Bobby Witt's ready to play. I mean, let's look at Prospect Pipeline right now. Hi, Bobby Witt Jr. I want to make sure that he's totally ready before I call him up. Because Perdomo is very competent and a quality player, and I don't feel the need to rush him. But, he's now the best... Oh, no, he's not the best prospect in my system. Because the prospect ranking lasts for the entire season. Yeah, I've got 10 in the top 100. Even O'Neal Cruz has kind of worked out. He's a very weird player. But it's like, if I made O'Neal Cruz my everyday DH, would the team get better or worse? And I'm not sure what the answer to that is. Actually, right now it would be worse. That's true. You're not letting him play the field, are you? That's problematic. For sure. Of all the expendable players on the team, Brujan is possibly the most expendable. But I also don't know who would want anything. Yeah, our biggest problem right now is we have so many talented players that we just need to get certain people off the 40 man. Um, like if I try to sneak Garcia through waivers, would he come off the? Would he get through? I think we trade him. I think Anthony Garcia needs to go. I hate to give up on a player that's this young, but I need the 40 man spot. And he has been not particularly impressive in Double A. And maybe, you know what, 3 years from now, this trade bites me in the ass, and that's fine. But for now, I'm comfortable with letting him move on. Oh, excuse me. Jaron Kendall, too, actually. Well, Kendall's a really good defender, which is why I'm willing to keep him when I wouldn't keep the others. Yeah, Garcia. I think you've got potential. That's why I took you in the Rule 5 draft. I just think you weren't ready. And you're really struggling to be a productive hitter, even in the minors. Shop him around, prospects only. Any position is fine. Because I want the 40 man spot, right? That's the reason I'm trading him. Not for any other reason. For the 40 man spot. A lot of mediocre players. I somehow predicted that. Ricky Perez is a really good defensive shortstop. And I don't think he's anywhere near. Yeah. I think Ricky Perez is exactly the kind of player. Oh, sorry. Let's turn him off of untouchable and then see what you think. You don't think we're getting much in return? I mean, I agree to a certain extent. But it's like right now, he's the best defensive shortstop on the team. And we're merely just trying to figure out if the guy can actually hit. I mean, if they want to give us something else, I'll take it, but they probably won't. That's an insult. I mean, to be fair, it is an insult. Not quite enough. I mean, I'm not willing to spend a huge amount of time kicking tires on the off chance of maybe getting another competent player. Max Carlson would actually be a nice little addition. I like his skill set, and I think he could be a potentially interesting pitcher. I'm just going to submit the offer, and if they accept it, I'm going to pull the trigger. Because I need the 40 man spot. Damn it. That's fine. I'll just take this trade as is. And all of a sudden his opinion has changed randomly, which is kind of fun. Done. Jaron Kendall. Carlos Tochi. I think I'm going to trade you. Maybe. So here's the thing for me. Brian Miller is already better at your job than you are. Admittedly, a slightly not as good center fielder. But Brian Miller is a finished product. You're not. And you claim to have good contact ratings, but I'm looking at your minor league track record. It's been pretty shitty. Because at least Jaron Kendall offers something unique, which is his raw power and ability to draw walks. And play very, very effectively in the outfield. I think I'm going to move on from Tochi, too. It's apparently get rid of the outfielders day in Baltimore. It's really just open up the 40-man roster spot day so that I don't lose the truly talented players. And oh, I'm not set to only batters. I'm still getting terrible offers. Great. Nope. Oh, let's focus on age, actually. No one 24 or older. You know what, Roniker Palmer? What? Damn it. That's only 2 years. Okay. You know what? I don't even care if you work out Peter Cerudo. I just want you... Yeah, we can be a little more judicious about our picks, but... Yeah, he's already on the 40 mint, definitely. Brett Schultz, definitely. Yeah, all these guys have been in systems for a long time, which is why they're willing to give them up, which I guess makes sense. Yeah, Peter Cerudo, I think you're worth it. I'm going to trade for you. It's kind of weird how I've become, here's an average to below average outfielder, take him for your roster, but that's where we are right now. Generate depth chart, please. No thank you. And that's the other option, isn't it? I could just let Mullins walk and then move Miller into left field. We're going to get to this All-Star break, and then I think I'm going to trade Mullins. And here's my reasoning. He's having an out-of-his-mind career year. At 28. And he's due for arbitration, and he's going to get probably $5 million. And I'm sitting on Daniel Cabrera. But not for too much longer. I think Mullins is the kind of player that old Avi would have pushed in chips on. But new Avi looks at everything else and sees average has dropped. OBP is dropped. The only thing he's doing better is hitting homers. Which is a great thing to be good at. He also stolen a bunch of bases. But yeah, I don't think it's worth that much money to have him. But I'm going to wait till the All-Star break. And here's why. I think he's going to get an All-Star slot. Or at least he might. And that's going to push his value even higher. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Okay, 5 weeks out for Bannon. Now it's time to try something a bit different. Luis Garcia, you're switching to second. O'Neal Cruz, you are not playing shortstop. I'm going to relieve you of that concern right this second. Perez. Yes, Perez. I think. After we're done, we might as well just call up Clay Fisher again. Let's do it. Luis Garcia. Nope. Perdomo. And then Garcia hits 7th, and Clay Fisher comes in there. I'm just setting these for right now because there's no reason not to. Garcia, please play second. And Clay Fisher slides in a shortstop. And then I'm just going to leave this as is. I'm not going to regenerate the depth chart. That's reasonable. There we go. Okay. Because of this weird Coors Field effect we have, we should actually be, if anything, undervaluing home runs. And that's unfortunate for Mr. Castillo. You've been hurt a lot, but you're actually having a pretty doggone good season. But it is what it is. Who is my next long-ish relief pitcher? Who's got good stamina? Fletcher. Or did I just make a horrible mistake? I think I just made a horrible mistake. I mean, I only really need you to pitch a few innings here and there and then do some middle relief. I mean, right now we don't have a backup starter, which is problematic. And Justin Wilson is getting his brains hammered this year. How did you sucker me into giving you such a big raise? I genuinely don't know. Can I just demote you so I can call up a starter? You can refuse, but will you refuse? You will. Jerk. I'm really salty about Wilson now. And it's my own fault. As I said, I tend to overpay for mediocrity. This is one of those examples. Will literally anybody give me anything for you now? I'm trying to keep payroll relatively low so that when these big, super important players come due and I need to start paying megastars, I have the money. No one's going to do it. And that makes perfect sense. I could just cut him. I've got a ton of extra cap room this season. I'm going to take a suggestion that someone mentioned back in episode 3 of this series. I'm going to waive him and see if somebody claims him for me. And then if he doesn't get claimed, I'll just cut him. You know what? Alek Manoah, you're in. You are the new emergency starting pitcher, long reliever. I can then push you back into regular good old middle relief and see how you do. Any interesting personal? Lots got a bit better. Here comes Bobby Witt charging. Corona Jr. got a tiny bit better. That's nice. What the hell are you talking about? I don't even know how this is happening, jerkface owner. Drafted. Are there like specific players you want me to call up? Oh no, they're only worth 3 wins above replacement. Excuse me, there are 2 players on my roster that I drafted. Whatever, dude. And a lot of people's contracts are coming up. Okay. I saw 4 in the top 10. Damn you, Jason Pineda. Don't worry. Let's look at our personnel. My bench coach isn't super great. How would you get along with a current roster, Gary Kendall? You have problems with older pitchers, but you're really good with younger hitters. That's quite nice, actually. What's your deal? Oh, you're good at developing players. That is challenging. I love that. One player gets use out of you, and it's my backup shortstop. On the Major League roster, do we have any contact hitters? No. I guess I'll just generic hitters, whatever. I think we can do better at team trainer. I'm gonna let him walk. Let's get all the minor league coaches to re-sign. I think he's earned an extension to his contract. Mr. Long, you can have a longer deal. I'm okay with that. And then, yeah, you can walk. I'm not going to rehire you. And I think, you know what? Until Bialis retires, I think we're going to keep him on the roster because he's good at developing players. He's already 69 years old. He's probably going to retire in the next 2 to 3 seasons. And then Gary Kendall, I'll call you up. That seems good. Let us advance to international free agent signing. All players. Is there any really great potential? Oh god, Nicolau Kendall? Gimme. Done. Oh no, people are claiming Justin Wilson. What a tragedy. You're not asking for much, but you're also not giving me much, so I don't care. There we go. And I got Nicolau Kendall. Nice. Why do you think I need a third baseman? Did Perdomo get reflagged randomly? He just have an oblique strain, but... Gout? Tyler, you're 27 bloody years old. You shouldn't be getting gout. What the hell, bro? I don't know what to do about you either. I could trade you and see if I can get some sort of talent out of it. You want to come back. I'm not sure I want you back, though, is the thing. Like, you've been productive in your short amount of time with the Baltimore Orioles, and I acknowledge that. But you're also taking up a roster spot. And right now, my biggest concern is that I have lots of talented players that I could potentially lose because I don't have 40-man roster spots for them. And I don't want that. I do want, however, Baylor Hendricks to be out of low A. You're really struggling. Like, you're striking people out, but you're also getting smacked around pretty regularly. I'm going to promote you just for the sake of maybe getting you to a new pitching coach. You might be able to figure out your problems more easily. But yeah, I don't want to lose players because I don't have a 40-man roster spot for them. That would be ridiculously silly. Okay. Damn it, Clay Fisher. Clough? No, Clough's actually not a very good shortstop. Let's call up Perez. He's fine. Because Corona Jr. is not ready yet. And I think it's going to be his spot to keep once he continues developing to the point where he can. At this point, I think we're holding him back. I think we need to give him more of a challenge. I'm going to put you into AA and see how you handle it. Mr. Hines is struggling quite badly. But that's okay. He's here for a reason. And I think we can let him play a bit longer in AA. Pierrette, let's promote you. Mr. Sprake. You've got high A down, I think. You can be promoted. And then Hendricks just got promoted. Great. Actually... No, I want to give you some AAA polish, possibly. But yeah, like, if Ivy gets traded, you're probably on the short list to be promoted. You'll give me Trevor Williams. You are absolutely fucking delusional. How dare you? How dare you? How long are you out for? You're day-to-day for 6 days. I can't get a guy who gives up homers and put him in Baltimore. He'll get destroyed. You really want to give away Max Kepler. It isn't that I'm not intrigued by him. It's that I don't need him. Can get Zach Pop back. Let's let you rehab in the minors, and then if someone gets hurt, I'll call you back up. Like, I'll have you notice, this is the All-Star break, and we've been very competitive this whole season. Okay, who do we got? Jack Leiter didn't make it. Disappointing. There's Adley Rutschman. Is that it? Literally only Adley Rutschman? And Edwin Diaz. Come on. Daniel Lynch makes it over Jack freaking Leiter. Come on. Whatever, bro. The important thing is that we have 2 All-Stars. And now we can give a good hard think to trading Cedric Mullins. I have Bobby Witt Jr., Dory Lorenzo. Who even is this guy? I legit don't remember you, but that's fine. Daniel Cabrera, obviously. Yeah, he's a pretty easy choice. Bobby Witt Jr., my dude. You're probably a couple seasons away, and that is totally fine with me. I'm more than willing to let Perdomo settle in and let you work on your craft. Daniel Cabrera, here's my promise to you. Oh, unless I trade Cedric Mullins. And I did say I'd think about it at the All-Star break. Let me sim the actual All-Star game just because I want to see if Adley Rutschman got picked for the Home Run Derby. Remember, we're only going to play this if one of Baltimore's players is in it. And they're not. That's fine. Do we flip Cedric Mullins? In exchange for Daniel Cabrera. I gotta tell you, I'm super tempted. There is no part of Mullins' game that Cabrera does worse. He's maybe not quite as good as a left fielder. Let me shift him to left. It's not going to change his ranking, but just to make it fair. Oh, actually, he is. He's exactly as good. Yeah, he's better in every conceivable way. I'm flipping him. Now, I will look at all positions. Because if we can get a better shortstop, even if it's just for a couple of seasons, I think the entire team looks a lot better. So let's see what kind of offers I get. If Carlos Correa's name comes up again, that's going to be an awfully difficult pill to reject. I get Carlos Tochi back. Who wouldn't want that? I could get Jose Ramirez. But as much as I love him, I have a great third base prospect in the minors. And I'd feel silly making him DH. I could get Shane Cisco back. I could get a legitimately intriguing pitching prospect. I could upgrade the bullpen. I don't need a catcher. What do we want? Our bullpen is admittedly could be better this year. Granted. And Jose Alvarado certainly fills that bill. We'd only get him for part of the season. This is true. But another massive arm in the bullpen could push us over the top. Like, if we look at our current bullpen, we're just kind of there. Like, the top two are really good, and then it just gets worse from there. So that's a possibility. But then there's a pitching prospect like Jimmy Robbins. And that's a hard non-sell, too. Orlando Arcia wouldn't be a bad choice. He's not a great shortstop, but he's a pretty decent one. You know what? Let's start by looking just at shortstops. Let's get the pool down to where it needs to be. No Dansby Swanson. I don't want that long a commitment to a shortstop. There is Jose Peraza. There's Tim, I don't know how I'm making this much money a year, Anderson. You do have a lot of power. And next year's contract is a team option, so I could instantly just... Oh. Like, I could just instantly either opt in or opt out pretty easily. And you're a way better hitter than any other shortstop candidate that we could grab. Zach Short's got a really good batting eye. Adalberto is a better shortstop, but a worse hitter. Miguel Troz. I think we're going to grab Tim Anderson. I'm going to push in our chips just a little bit. And we're actually not losing anything too important. We're losing a guy who I'm going to replace anyway. With a better player. Let's pull the trigger. Give me that sweet, sweet Tim Anderson. I should get a little bit more, actually. I mean, I am taking one of their contracts off their hands. How about Robert Moore? No. He would want something extra. Do you have any good pitching prospects who might actually better serve as relievers? So far, no. That's fine. You know what? This is a perfectly reasonable trade for me. Done. Ooh, I traded for an all-star. That was not anticipated, but okay. Next step. Mr. Perez, you've been demoted. Daniel Cabrera, welcome to the major leagues. And then here's Tim Anderson. Okay. Now, where do we hit Mr. Cabrera now that he is a major league hitter? And I think where he was hitting before is completely fine. I think just plug him in as the number 2 hitter. Like he's more incapable of filling that role. And then let's get Tim Anderson to bat 9th. That seems good to me. Cabrera, Anderson. He's having a good year for Chicago, too. So as long as he can play shortstop adequately, I think he'll be a nice boost to the back of the lineup. Is anyone hitting really badly that could be demoted in the lineup? You know what? Yasiel Puig is actually not having a great season. You're now hitting 6th, Tim Anderson. You didn't cost me anything, so I'm not that upset about it. But you're also not that great. Now, salaries. Anyone else due for a gigantic super raise? All right. I'm going to do something a bit crazy. But I think it's worth it. I think we lock down Adley Rutschman now. Before he hits arbitration for the first time. Which will then give us a solid baseline. And then we can decide who else to pay the big bucks down the line. Or maybe not, actually. No, because part of this is Rutschman's salary, right? So, let's talk extension. You want a gigantic sack of money. And I'm totally fine with that. If you will give me 2 things. And they're both the same thing, actually. I want 2 team options at the back end. You give me that, and I will sign this deal. I'm going to try to sneak out a couple million here and there in these middle years. Right now, I'm kind of nickeling and diming him. And if that's what happens, that's what happens. But this is what I'm trying to avoid. He'll be earning $20 million a year, which means he's probably going to be between 1/3 and 1/4 of our payroll. You know what? I can't do it. I can't sign him for that much money. Not right now. I'm going to wait until he's arbitration eligible. Oh, but he's giving me a discount the first 2 years. Can I get any cost certainty by signing one of the cheaper players who I'm fairly certain will be around? No, Jack Leiter just wants to take it a year at a time. Which I'm fine with. Can I get a 3-year deal from you? No. What if I add in a couple $100,000 each season? No, that's fine. Oh, you're such a tough call. Adley Rutschman is a 25-year-old catcher. This is both his greatest strength and his greatest weakness. Like, he's having another fantastic season. So I guess I don't see the need to rush him just yet. I've got him 1 more year at the minimum. Arbitration doesn't kick in until next year. Because here's my issue. If he gets hurt, and he's a catcher, right? He's gonna get hurt at some point, probably. We are then tying up a third of our payroll to one guy. And right now, given our current financial model, we cannot afford that. Maybe sometime in the near future, if we can grow out the market a bit, increase fan loyalty, maybe. Now, I'm not pulling an Indians here. I'm not going to say we're not signing him. That would be absurd. What I'm saying instead is I don't want to sign him until I'm a little more confident that he's going to have the durability that we need. I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with him just continuing on for right now. But I think we made a significant pair of upgrades that I really think is going to help us potentially make the playoffs this season. We've only got a 2-game lead on the Yankees, but we added a significant upgrade at left field and a significant upgrade at shortstop. And I think we're going to be, in the very least, in the wild card conversation most of the rest of the season. But we'll see what happens next time. Thank you very much for watching. It's always a pleasure to play this game and to hear your wonderful comments. But until next time, thank you for watching. This has been Avindian, and I bid you good day.